Warriors of Chaos, Arcane Journal time. Let's get into it. In this Arcane Journal, we have obviously our two new sub-factions, the Sea Wolves and the Heralds of Darkness, or sorry, the Wolves of the Sea. We have a couple of new characters. Actually, one's a returning character. We have Galrauch the Great Drake back, and then a handful of new units. A few locked to the sub-factions, but for everybody, we get a gigantic spawn of Chaos, Warpfire Dragons, and a lot of really cool artifacts of ruinous powers. There is a lot of cool lore, a lot of cool art. Honestly, a very interesting book, but we're not going to go through all that. We have that special scenario against the Empire. More art, obviously. But you're here for the actual rules, and that's what we're going to discuss in this video. But I do want to point out, I think some of you were expecting, well, I was expecting, or hoping maybe, the big mammoth was going to be back, but no mammoth in this book. Let's just jump right into the rules. We'll do one section at a time, and then we'll finish it off with like all the new units and artifacts for the whole game. We're gonna go off with the Heralds of let's skip it. I thought the Sea Wolves. Yeah, the Sea Wolves were first. Let's do the Sea Wolves. Or sorry, the Wolves of the Sea, which I'm gonna continually call the Sea Wolves. The Wolves of the Sea, Army of Infantry. Okay, now I gotta point out that I got a cold again, so I'm gonna do my best to not sound too muffled. Anyway, so our Army of Infantry composition, you have up to 50% of your characters as, sorry, up to 50% of your points as characters. 0 to 1 Chaos Lord, Demon Prince, or Sorcerer Lord. Ooh. So not likely to have a big fighter and a big wizard. 0 to 1 Exalted Champion or Exalted Sorcerer per 1,000 points. And then Inspiring Champions and Marauder Chieftains. Cool, new unit. And then at least 25% of your army must be spent on Chaos Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, and Marauder Tribe Berserkers, and Warhounds as core. So nothing but Marauders in there. And then special, we have Chaos Warriors, Chaos Chariots, Skin Wolves, and the Marauder Tribe of Skarls and the Chaos Spawn. All right, so we have a few warriors mixed in here, but they're special. We got in rare 33%. Oh, we have a lot of rare. 33% of your army can be spent on, looks like we got Chaos Ogres, Chaos Trolls, or Dragon Ogres. The gigantic spawn of Chaos, 1 per 1,000. And we have the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. Oh, sorry, one per dragon ogre unit, obviously. And then one giant per 1,000 points. And mercenaries will be gore herds or ungore herds. We've seen a lot of them in the pictures. Probably why they're there. Oh, a single aspiring champion or marauder tribe chieftain can be upgraded to be the BSB. Cool. And then what actual rules we get for taking out a bunch of things. So we're losing all of our core Warriors of Chaos. You know what? Warriors of Chaos aren't the hotness anyway. Kind of like Marauders as core. So it doesn't seem like there's a big loss so far, other than the fact that you can't have a Chaos Lord and a Sorcerer Lord, which is a little unfortunate. But maybe I don't want that in this list. So we have Favor of the Gods. If a character within the Wolves of the Sea army kills their opponent in a challenge, they must immediately roll on the Gaze of the Gods table. Ooh. In addition, should a unit within the Wolves of the Sea army claim the standard of the enemy unit as a trophy, that unit may immediately make a roll on the Gaze of the God table. So we get units actually rolling on the Gaze of the Gods table. That is actually really cool. How often do we see in standards get captured? Not that often, to be honest, these days. Even Luke and I do a lot of infantry grinding with each other, but hopefully we see some standards get captured. I want to see units actually roll on the Gaze of the Gods. Then we have the Sea-born Raiders. Units of the Chaos Marauders and Marauder Horsemen within the Sea of the Wolves army have the Ambush special for 1 point per model. Aspiring champions who choose this type, aspiring champions whose troop type is infantry or cavalry within the Wolves of the Sea army may have the Ambush special rule for plus 10 points. You have to forgive me to make this this book very visible on the camera here. I have lights on it that's causing glare that you can't see, but it's kind of somewhat blocking my view, so I have to move my head around a lot just to read this. But yeah, okay, so we have Seaborn Raiders. Remember that, what's that old character's name from 8th edition? Wolfric, the Wanderer. Kind of reminiscent of him. So you can have your Marauders doing like the big elf-like thing. Only back then, only one unit could do it. Now much of your army could do it. Which I think could be a fun thing to do. Is this going to be like incredibly powerful competitively? No, probably. Is it going to be really fun and we're going to do a hell of a lot of battle reports with it? Yeah, definitely. And then the Warriors duel was already shown off on Warhammer Community. That's really freaking cool. So you can like tool up a champion to issue a challenge before the game starts, and your opponent's champion, a champion can take up a challenge, do a duel. the winner goes first. And if the other guy refuses the duel, he wills to go first. I freaking love this to death. And I know Luca's gonna play these guys first. So I'm gonna let you guys make the decision. I know Luca's playing this army on Wednesday on our live stream at 5:30 Eastern time. And I'm playing High Elves against them. If I do a C versus C thing, I'll probably do like a Lothran Sea Guard versus these guys. Now the thing is, should I tailor up my High Elf, one of my champions, take on this duel, buy a bunch of magic items on a champion? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. But we're not gonna talk about that too long. Yeah. So okay, narrative wise, really really cool rules. I really like them. I don't know how powerful this will be, but it does look like a lot of fun to play. So our new units are gonna have to really add a lot because we are losing a little bit with the character restriction here. But if you don't bring 1,000 points of characters typically, you're probably not losing much out of this. But you're the Warriors duel, stupid fun. Seaborn Raiders, building into that could be a lot of fun. And then Favor the Gods. That's like having units roll on that. That to me sounds awesome. We got to get into the units that are locked to the Wolves of the Sea. So Marauder Tribe Chieftains, 65-point characters, typical hero level character we've seen in the past. Weapon skill 5, strength toughness 4, 2 wounds, leadership 8. 3 attacks. That's all pretty basic there. They take flails, great weapons, cavalry spear, mounted, throwing axes, javelin, shield, warhorse. Can be marked. Has ambushers built in. Has chaos armor 6+. Gaze the Gods built in. Mark of the Chaos Undivided built in, but that's kind of expected. It comes with a rallying cry and warband. Okay, so just literally everything you would expect if someone told you you're getting Marauder Chieftains. Nothing surprising there whatsoever. But the option is cool. Remember, one of them can be a BSB if you want to stay on theme. And then we have the Marauder Tribe Berserkers. Remember, these are core. 8 points a model. Movement 5. Toughness 4. Marauders. Okay. And weapons and light armor. With, you can buy flails for a point, which you're going to do. Regular command stuff. They have Frenzy built in. And they have Mark of Undivided. Move through cover, open order, Relentless Warrior, Skirmish, and Warband. Okay, so far I like everything here. Even though skirmishing frenzy guys isn't always the best, but kind of works for the Marauders. And then Relentless Warriors, a model this bitch rolls a 6-up ward save against any wounds suffered or caused by a non-magical attack. Oh, kind of like the well, similar, not exactly the same, but similar to the Flagellants. So I know Luke will have a couple of units of these. We've already got them converted up from the Aegis Sigmar new Marauder type models. We have those converted up to be flail wielding Marauder Berserker for our game. So we'll see these on the table on Wednesday. 2 units. I kind of like them. What's that? 80 points for. No, it's actually going to be 90 points because you want to buy flails. So 10 of them are 90 points. Maybe buy a champion as well. So we're paying head takers 8 points. So 98 points. Yeah, I'll do this all day long. I like that unit a lot. And they're core. We only have 20 ready to go for Wednesday, but I think I might be getting some more of those built. Let me know what you guys think about them. Now, my 2 favorite units for the Wolves of the Sea, the Skin Wolves and the Marauder Tribe of Skrulls. Skin Wolves first, we'll talk about them. 45 points for Monstrous Infantry with 3 wounds and 3 attacks. Only Strength Toughness 4. Weapon Skill 5 is nice, and Movement 7. Actually, Weapon Skill 5 on Monstrous Infantry is so far unheard of. And Movement 7. But the best part about them, Swift Stride and Skirmisher. So they are stupid fast, stupid mobile. This would be, if this was able to be put in every Warriors of Chaos list, it wasn't just locked for the Wolves of the Sea, they'd be in every list. But let's get into them. So they have Blood Rage and Primal Fury. So Primal Fury is that Beastman thing where you roll a leadership check at the start of the combat round. If they pass, they reroll ones to hit. And then Blood Rage is if they roll doubles on that test and passed, they gain Frenzy, and they can even regain Frenzy if they lost it earlier. Their own regen of 5 up, Chaos Undivided Mark, open order as well as skirmish, but you probably want to skirmish all the time. So solid right there. Just that alone is pretty solid. But their output doesn't seem great yet until you get into a warped form. Now, this was already talked about in the Warhammer community site, but we'll go over it again. So at the start of the fight, they can pick one of the following forms: enlarged claws. So they gain AP 1 effectively, and armor bane 2. Or extra attacks if you're fighting a bunch of Griblies. Or increase your toughness by 1 up to toughness 5 and armor by 2. Gives them 5 up armor because otherwise you have no armor. So you can be like Crypt Cores or you know, 4 attacks apiece, or what you're probably going to use more often, AP 1 and armor. I think skin wolves seem really powerful, and I'm going to see them in every Wolves of the Sea list for sure. We have 4 painted ready to go. You'll see these on the table on Wednesday. And the Marauder Tribe have Scarls, 18 points a model for light cav. Hand weapons, light armor. Typical human stat. Oh no, actually, toughness 4. All right, I dig that. Leadership 7, toughness 4, movement 8 on a horse. We can have flails. There you go, 1 point a model. Obviously, we're gonna have flails. Throwing axes, javelins, all that kind of stuff. Replace light armor for heavy armor and take shields. We're gonna have what? That's 4 up armor. Okay. We can buy marks here. The regular command stuff. 1 per 1,000 points, maybe drilled for 2 points per model. Not terrible. We got Furious Charge, Counter Charge, Stride and Warband. Okay, so Furious Charge, Counter Charge, maybe Mark of the Corn, Mark of Corn with flails. Not that expensive. Send him up forward first. Just get in there. Yeah, no, we have 5 of these painted up, ready to go, converted up from the Age of Sigmar new Marauder Horsemen. They look a little more heavily armored. They have flails already, and we'll see these on the table on Wednesday. I don't know how many more of these I need. Furious Charge is nice with flails, and then giving them, well, they can't have skirmish, right? No skirmish, just closed order. We have 5 ready to go. I think I might need to get more of these. That's a lot of attacks. That's a very potent unit. Only weapon skill 4, but at least it's weapon skill 4. Toughness 4 built in. Probably gonna have a 5-up save in melee because you're gonna buy heavy armor for them, which isn't nothing. But having up to 3 attacks a piece on the charge, ooh, spicy. I like these guys as well. Now I'm gonna go over all these magic items, but I'm gonna do just the Wolves of the Sea ones first, and we'll come back and do the ones that are available to everybody. But they have access to the Chieftain's Blade, only available to models in the Wolves of the Sea. It's strength plus 1, AP 1, armor bane 1, magical attacks. While engaging in a challenge, it plus 1 to hit for 30 points. So, okay, it is a slightly better, no, it's a significantly better Sword of Might. I don't hate it. I don't like it, actually. We have, I think this, yeah, the Mighty Serpent Scale Mail for 40 points. The Mighty Serpent Scale Mail may be taken by models by the Wolves of the Sea, Army of Infamy. Mighty Serpent Scale Mail is a suit of heavy armor. In addition, you gain strikes first. I kind of like that. That could go on your dragon character. Nice. That's the last thing they needed. Banner of the Bang Hound. No, that's for the Sea Raiders crest. 25 points. May only take my models that way. Unit carrying the Sea Raiders crest gains the Fear special rule. If the unit already has Fear, gains Terror instead. For 25 points on a blob of 30 Marauders, that could be worth it. In fact, let me rephrase that. That's definitely worth it. I'd buy that if I were to bring a block of 30 Marauders, which we have done in the past numerous times, I will buy that on the unit every time. That being said, if we're talking competitively speaking, bringing a block of 30 Marauders isn't going to be a thing you're going to do anyway. But when you play the way I'm currently having a lot of fun just playing like narrative with, you know, semi-good lists. We see lots of infantry when we play. So yeah, I'll see this on the table quite a bit, actually. The Sea Raiders crest is actually pretty decent. Okay, all said and done, the Wolves of the Sea actually might be pretty strong. I gotta play around with some combos and see what kind of list you can build at 2,000 points. But I can see this one, fun level, is gonna be off the chart. Narratively, spot on perfect. They nailed it narratively. How powerful is it? Actually, it might not be that weak. Time will tell. We'll see what we can build with it. But I'm very interested to see what we can build with this one, or what you come up with. If you notice any cool combos, let me know. Or even let Luca know. We'll try them out. The Heralds of Darkness. I'm going to play these guys on Thursday night at 5:30 live on this channel, Eastern time. So we have a, mounted theme army, which we're seeing in these Arcane journals, except for the doors. Well, we have, 50% of your characters with 0 to 1 Chaos Lord or Demon Prince, and 0 to 1 Exalted Champion or Sorcerer Lord per 1,000 points. So that's interesting. If you wanted to, I'm not saying you do, but if you wanted to, you can get 2 Sorcerer Lords and a Chaos Lord in a 2,000 point list with the Heralds of Darkness. Because typically those Chaos Lords and Sorcerers are all locked together with 1,000, so you only get 2 of the 3. Okay, so core. You have to spend 33% of your army on core. What's that, 660? It's 2,000 points? Okay. 1 plus unit of Chaos Knights, Marauder Horsemen and Chaos Warhounds, and then 0 to 1 Chaos Chariot may be taken as core. Okay, so only mounted things in core. Kind of expected that. Special, we have Chosen Chaos Knights. Only 1 unit of Chosen Chaos. Wait, that's weird. All right. Only 1 unit or phrase that. Only 1 unit of Chosen Chaos Knights. And then 0 to 1 Chosen Chaos Chariot per 1,000 points. And then we have regular chariots, chimeras, and dragon ogres. 25% of the army can be spent on rare. We got Gorby's chariots, Shaggoth, 1 per dragon ogre unit. That gigantic spawn of chaos, 1 per 1,000. The giant and the Warpfire Dragon, he's going to be awesome. But that guy's going to be, we're not going to talk about him in this section. We'll talk about him afterwards because this guy's in everything and really good. Mercenaries, Centaur Chieftains, and Centaur Herds. BSB. Yeah, typical BSB stuff. Nothing new there. All right. Heralds of Darkness special rules. All characters in this army must be mounted or have the Fly X special rule. And then we still have Bretonian rule. When anything with cavalry or chariot makes a charge, flee, or pursue roll, it may re-roll the die of a natural 1 before discarding any dice. So, how often is that going to come up? Not never, but not that often. And the shadow grows. Oh, for each character in your army that includes a mark of chaos, other than the mark of chaos undivided, it must include a non-character unit with the same mark. So if you have a character with Mark of Tzeentch, you must bring a unit somewhere with Mark of Tzeentch. So that's actually a downside because I was actually struggling to make lists. I wanted my wizard with the Mark of Tzeentch, but then I had to make a unit with the Mark of Tzeentch. That I didn't like too much, but I've played this type of list in the past where I played pure cav, which you can already do in Warriors. Sorry, yeah, Warriors. This one over here, it's going to unlock more characters if you wanted to, but then you have this mark restriction, which is unfortunate. But you get that reroll 1 thing, which I do play a lot of Bretonia. They got that too, and maybe it should come up in my games more than it does, but it hasn't come up that much. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad rule. That's an awesome rule. But right now, this is cool, but this has been far more restrictive than I want it to be, because it's not like I can take a cheap Marauder unit on foot with Mark of Tzeentch to offset my wizard. I got to put it on a good unit. I got to take off my Mark of Chaos Undivided, which I think is amazing. So this is unfortunate. This is cool. This is pretty good. But I wonder if I end up just playing this with regular Wars of Chaos. I'll have to deal with this. But we have some special units. We have a new unit. Where is it called? Where is it? Oh, the Chosen Chariot. The Chosen Chaos Chariot. I think it's about 30 points more than a regular chariot. You have chosen stats, so an extra attack on your rider, extra leadership. So it's like 4 halberd attacks on the chariot just by itself. Getting a couple more fuel mark of corn, obviously. And sorcerer weapons, first charge, impact hits, counter charge, and mark of chaos undivided. So you're basically paying 30 points to gain plus 2 halberd attacks, plus 1 leadership, and counter charge. Now, counter charge is actually pretty decent. I'd pay 30 points all day long for counter charge. So chosen chaos chariots, I dig. Artifacts for this army, we only have the Obsidian Dreadglaive, only available to the Heralds of Darkness. It is a great weapon, but it's only AP 1. But in return, you gain Killing Blow. Magical attacks. So trade 1 AP for Killing Blow and magical attacks, all for the low price of 55. Okay. Maybe Killing Blow is worth it. Once again, the magic items in this edition have been, in my opinion, overpriced. Sometimes greatly overpriced. This doesn't seem greatly overpriced. This seems a little overpriced. I don't know if that's worth more than 40 points. But there you go, 55 points for a weapon you have option 2. We have, that's it, everybody. There was a banner. Yeah, there's a banner here. Banner of the Baying Hound for 25 points. You gain Vanguard. And it's only for the Heralds of Darkness. Now, that sounds pretty good, except for I don't know how to use it. Because a Marauder unit, a Marauder Horseman unit with it could get a turn 1 charge. It's a maximum charge, but at least they have Warband, so it could be worthwhile. A Warriors of Chaos or a Warriors of Chaos Knight unit or even a Chosen Knight unit can't make a charge turn 1 with it. So it is, okay for, repositioning a little bit. So not terrible, but there are other really good banners. But it is an option. I'm not saying I hate it. Having 25-point banner of Vanguard for your well, your whole army, but your whole cav. I don't know how to use it in the army, but maybe somebody will figure out the best way to use it. There probably is actually a really good way. It's not coming to me. But 25 points, I just don't see how having one of my units and knights getting out ahead of the rest of my army is going to be an overall good strategy with this type of list. But then again, having a big old line of Marauder Horsemen vanguarding up with your hounds there could be something there. I have to practice with that. And I'm not too sure. And then they got one more. We go. Demon Forge Barding for 35 points. You have to be cavalry. On the turn, the bearer charged. Their mount and all mounts in the unit get +1 to their tax characteristic. That's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just finding the points to put that on the character. Like usually you have a mounted character on a demonic steed or a war horse. You're probably not gonna be able to afford. Well, you have to cut something to afford that. It'll probably be worth it. I'm toying around an idea with a list with this, but it's actually on my wizard, my sorcerer lord joining in the cav, and the sorcerer lord's a demonic sorcerer, so that combo might be pretty good. So maybe you get like 3 attacks alone with a demonology spell and this item from the mounts alone. Could be pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna try that out on a sorcerer. But yeah, let me know how you plan on using that. But that's the magic items for Heralds of Darkness. Let's get into the units that everybody has access to. So we have Frydaal the Chainmaker. All right, so she is an exalted champion and can be taken in any list that can take an exalted champion, but she's on foot. So Wolves of the Sea and regular Warriors of Chaos can't be Heralds of Darkness. We're 235 points for an exalted champion, eh? Weapon skill 6, strength 5, toughness 4, 4 attacks, leadership 9. Stats aren't terrible. Full plate armor and shield. We have the Storm's Wrath weapon, ambushers, extra special rules, chaos armor 5+. Gaze the Gods, impact hits 1. And just more special rules. Okay, let's see what these special rules are. The Chainmaker. Any enemy standard captured by Frydaal or any unit she has joined is worth 100 victory points as a trophy of war. Okay, in a game of infantry, collecting banners, that's really cool. Not the current meta. 235 points to do that. Oh, what else we got? Commander and Captain. Unless she's fleeing, friendly units of Chaos Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, Marauder Tri-Pascals, and Berserkers gain +1 modifier to their leadership while within command range. Okay. Not bad. But does that do nothing in the game? She's leadership 9. She ended up being the general. So it makes the Marauders and Marauder Horsemen leadership 8. No, I'm sorry. No, that's not how it worked, because if they're in her command range, they use her leadership of 9 and then add +1. Okay, so it does work. Never mind. It does do something. I was just thinking of how the rules work for a second there. Peerless Raiders. 0 to 1 unit Chaos Marauders or Marauder Horsemen in the same muster list as Frydaal may have the Ambusher special rule for free. In addition, if Frydaal is your general, I hope I'm saying that right. Frydaal? If she is your general, you may apply a +1 or -1 modifier to the result when rolling to determine if she or any unit of Chaos Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, or Tri-Pascals or Berserkers with the ambush rule are currently held in reserve or rise this turn from reinforcements. Okay, you know what? I don't hate her. She's the better version of Wolfric the Wanderer. The Storm's Wrath weapon is strength +2, AP 1, extra attacks D3, magical attacks requires 2 hands. Okay, well, initiative 5 with that. That's actually not bad at all. I wish it was AP2. AP1 seems a little lackluster for that. I mean, you're more often than not, you see a great weapon on these typical. But the D3 additional attacks, okay, so solid. Not a terrible character. For 235 points, kind of a budget. The problem with her, and I'll say Games Workshop, here's my issue. Kind of said she's not getting a model, right? I don't like converting. I would use her if she had a model. Well, if anybody can think of a cool way of converting one up, let me know. Maybe I will commission you to make me one. Make me one Frydaal the Chainmaker. The model I would use if. Galrauch the Great Drake. Galrauch the Great Drake may be included in an army of warriors of chaos using any army composition. He must be filled as presented here. He's a named character. They don't. That means he's a character. Yeah, that's a character. Yeah, he belongs to a character slot. 465 points. He's got dragon stats. He's a dragon. You know Galrauch. Behemoth. What do we got here? Armored Hide 1. Oh, so he's a dragon with 3 of armor. Get the Breath of Change special rule, which is really cool. We'll get to that in a second. Close Order, Fly 10, Large Target, Mark of Tzeentch. Regeneration built in. Spirit of Galrauch, Stomp D6, Swift Stride, Terror, 2-headed dragon. Okay. Breath of Change, once per game, instead of using his other 2 regular dragon breaths, which are these over here, you can use the Breath of Change. You take a toughness test. If you fail, you remove from play. I think it's the first time we've seen that all edition. So you can, fly up to an enemy dragon, put your Breath of Change template over them. Now, granted, you're only 50-50 you're hitting them because you still have to do the if you're hit thing. But so you hit the dragon, he does a toughness test, that dragon rolls a 6, end of the game. That nuts or what? It's not going to happen too often, but there you go. Spirit of Galrauch. Okay, so Galrauch, he used to be a good little dragon, and Tzeentch kind of warped him up. So the start of turn subphase, on your turn, you must take a leadership check for Galrauch. Galrauch's leadership 9. If the test is failed, the spirit controlling Galrauch rebels, and his wizard level is reduced to 1, and he can only cast 1 spell that turn. You would still know all your spells, but you only cast 1 of them. Of the 4 you have. He becomes subject to random movement, 2d6, which in some situations, not terrible, but you probably want your nice fly. If he's engaged in combat, he must direct D3 of his attacks against himself, rounding any fractions down. So, okay, so any wounds Galrauch causes against himself are added to the enemy's combat score. Because it says D3, roll any fractions down, my interpretation of that is if you roll a 1 on the D3, you do 1 attack to yourself. If you roll a 2 on the D3, you do 1 attack to yourself. If you roll a 3 on the D3, remember these are D6s, you do 1 attack to yourself. If you roll a 4 on the D3, you do 2 attacks to yourself. If you roll 5, you do 2 attacks to yourself. Am I overthinking that? Am I thinking rounding fractions down? So you roll D6 on a 1, 2, or 3, you do 1 attack to yourself. On a 4, you do 2 attacks. 4 and 5, you do 2 attacks to yourself, and only on a 6, you do 3 attacks to yourself. Am I overthinking that? Let me know what you think about that. Okay, we have Wicked Claws, obviously, and then the breath weapons. So 465 points for a dragon. Okay, pretty good for a dragon with 3 up armor and a 5 up regen built in. Does he not have? I thought he had an invulnerable save. Oh no, that's the other dragon. Okay, so 3 up, 5 up, level 4 wizard. No rider tax. The problem is you might end up getting a little stupid, a little dumb. Well, no, I was calling this stupidity for a while, but it's definitely better stupidity. You can do with only having 1 spell a turn every now and then on a risk. Hitting yourself, it's actually not that bad. It's more about losing the attacks against your opponent, because you're probably not going to do too much damage to yourself. It's the random movement could really help you or really hurt you. So I actually don't think this rule is actually that bad. Because sometimes you want your opponent not to flee from a charge, and that random movement get you right where you need to be. But the last thing you want to do is line him up for a nice charge, fail that, gain random move 2d6, and then start crawling across the ground. So anyway, Galrauch is pretty great. Now, we haven't talked about the Warpfire Dragon yet, but having Galrauch as a character, another Lord as a dragon riding character, having a 3rd dragon in this list, you can make a list with 3 dragons in it relatively easily now. But Galrauch, become aces. Let's get right to it. Let's actually talk about the Warpfire Dragon. So this thing is a behemoth, I believe right here. It can be taken 1 in your army as rare. Any army. Any worst case army. 1. Not 2. 1. 375 points. It's got dragon stats minus 1 attack. So you're typically paying about 275 points for a dragon currently, which I do believe is too cheap. But 375 points, no rider, coming out of your rare, not coming out of your characters. Already right there, I think this thing is really worth it. Assuming it's, what do we got here? Wicked Claws. Okay, great. Warpfire Blast. I'm not sure what that is yet. Well, it's right there. It's pretty awesome. And a full plate. We have large target, magic resistance 2 built in, chaos undivided, has its own 5-up regen built in, swift stride terror. Okay, so we have all the rules you want in a dragon. 375 points, awesome. Can be a level 1 or level 2 wizard. You want to spend the points? Hard to say. Battle magic, demonology, dark magic. I don't think you need to, but if you want to, there you go. When it dies, everything, friend or foe, within 6 inches suffers D6, strength 5 hits, and AP 2. I might just suicide this thing right in my enemy lines and see what happens. It has a 5-up ward save against any wounds suffered that were not caused by magical or flaming attacks. So it's basically a 4-up, 5-up, 5-up in most situations for 375 points. And it has its own built-in stone thrower. Range is 6 to 24, strength 8/4, AP 1, 3, D3 plus 1 damage. It's just a stone thrower. Now, granted, often you're marching your dragon, but I guess you're not always marching your dragon. So you're either marching or charging. But this guy chooses to only fly 10. It's got its own stone thrower built in. It's got its own ward save. It's got its own regeneration save. It's got its own MR2 built in. It's, I think, a steal for 375 points. I think that this is just the new auto include rare choice for every Warriors of Chaos army. Hard to see a lot of these on the table, everybody. And if you really want to, I'll play a list with 1 Warpfire Dragon, 1, he's back basically, 1 Galrauch the Great Drake, and a sort of Chaos Lord on a dragon. And Galrauch has 2 heads, Chaos Dragons have 2 heads, so it's a 5-headed dragon list. He only has 1 head. He's a lesser dragon. You just have 1 less attack. Balance, right? And finally, the last thing to talk about in this book is the Gigantic Spawn of Chaos. 145 points. I also think this one is a steal. I think this is going to be... I think people are going to debate whether this thing is overpowered or useless, and I'm leaning on the side of overpowered. I think I'm going to... I think we're going to see people say, oh, it doesn't have Swiss Stride, so it's useless, but then they're still going to put them in their list. This thing random moves 3d6. It's 145 points, toughness 6 with a 6 wounds. Toughness 6 wounds, 145 points. That alone is worth it to absorb some damage. Now, movement 3d6 can be good, can be bad. Random movement, I think, is kind of cool. But only d6 plus 1 attack, so its attacks are a little inconsistent. Heavy armor built in. Armor Bane built in, Armor Bane 2 built in. It does have first charge, immune psychology, large target, stomps D6, timber, and unbreakable, which is going to be useful. And then you can upgrade it to be a spawn of Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, or Tzeentch. And here's the interesting thing. I think, I've been in this hobby for, I guess, decades now. Never once have I seen an option for upgrades on a unit where I went through all of them and I went, oh, that's obviously the best one. That's obviously the only one you ever use. All 4 of these are good. I'll put any of these. I'll roll a D4 and use that one in the game anytime at all. So if you're Khorne, you get impact takes D3 and killing blow. Yes, please. If you're Nurgle, you get poison attacks and regeneration. Yes, please. If you're Slaanesh, you get counter charge and first strike. Yes, please. If you're Tzeentch, you get MR2. Yes, please. That's only 10 points. It's obviously the weakest one, but I'll take MR2. I don't think I've ever seen a unit with all 4 upgrades I'm happy to have. Otherwise, its D6 plus 1 attacks is strength 6, AP 1. Again, 1 gnashing maw attack. In combat, you make 1 of attack. Oh, if it kills anything, yeah, that's right. It does a wound, it heals a wound. It actually eats you. So 1 attack at AP 2 strikes last. Unless you're Slaanesh and you get strikes first. You go all the way back up to initiative 3. But 145 points. Now, an army using Warriors of Chaos or Beastmen can add this to their army 1 per 1,000 points in rare. I think I want to say this, but this is going to knock Gorgons out of my Beastmen army. This is definitely a knock Gorgons out of my Beastmen army. I'd rather have that 3d6-inch move than the 7-inch no Swiss. But either way, I think these things, to me, for toughness 6 wounds, 145 points seems a little bit low with the unbreakable. Now, what upgrade, if you were to pick an upgrade, let me know in the comments below what upgrade you love. That regen's nice. That killing blow and impact is nice. Counter charge is really nice. Oh, sorry, Zinch's flaming attacks, magical attacks, and MR2. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think the Chaos Spawn, I only bought 2 and painted up 2. Well, out of Rift Train, painted up 2 for us. We'll get them on the channel real soon. We'll see if we see a lot of these in the list moving forward. But a lot of cool monsters, a lot of cool upgrading, or a lot of cool units added in this Arcane journal. So far, this book's a big win. I say so far as I'm wrapping it up and talk about just about everything. We have magic items to go over. All right, for magic items, I think we got another big page of wins. Not the weapons, though. We talked about 2 of them already. We also have the dagger, the Dark Pantheon. Strength, user AP2. For each wound. Okay. I think this existed before for Dark Elves. For each wound you do, the next match phase, basically adding +1 to your casting or dispel roll. I just don't think I'll ever fit that in on a wizard, literally ever. And we have the Taskmaster Scourge. Or, well, okay, this might be useful. 25 points, strength user AP1, extra attacks 1. It can only be on infantry. During the command subphase of the turn, the Taskmaster Scourge may attempt to urge them. He's gonna whip some people, okay? He's a little bit of a slave driver. If you do leadership test, if the test is passed until your next start of turn subphase, this character in any unit they have joined gain D3 modifier to their movement to a maximum of 10. I don't want to convert something up for that, but that actually could be a useful item. Not because of the weapon it is, it's because of the actual enchanted effect it gives. It's more of an enchanted item. Once again, not a good weapon, but that's a good item. Now, Demonic Plate, I think Luca's character Taraj will love this thing. Infantry or cavalry only. Demonic Plate is a full plate armor that improves your toughness and initiative by 1. That'll be pretty good on a if you want to run a lone champion on a demonic steed. Kind of their toughness is the thing they're lacking. We get that sweet Talisman of the Carrion Crow. 45 points, you gain poison attacks and regeneration 5+. It's just another way of save stacking. Because there's only one way of buying regeneration. You don't have to buy your ward save ever, because you're a warrior chaos. You got plenty of chaos armor everywhere. So just having a couple of characters with multiple 5-up 5-ups. We talked about. Did we talk about this one? No, no. Okay. So the Talisman of the Soaring Eagle. The bearer of the Talisman of the Soaring Eagle has magic resistance 2, 35 points. That's actually pretty good, but there's the Collar of Corn. In addition, the bearer has a 5-up ward save against any wound caused by magical attacks. MR2 for 35 points is not terrible at all. But you can spend 50 points for an MR3 banner. That's damn good. I guess a few things. And the Arcane of Darkness. A unit has an additional -1 to hit modifier on them. I can see that on a unit of Berserkers or Marauder Skirmishers. You never want to shoot at them with a bow if they have additional -1 to hit. But I mean, Blitzkrieg shooting already isn't that great. Now, also, maybe put a character in there with MR2. Make sure you have a lot of magic resistance on your skirmishing units, everybody. You have the items to do it. You actually have the items to do it to multiple units in Warriors of Chaos. Now we have the Blood Skull Pendant. It's for infantry only. Instead of attacking normally, the Blood Skull Pendant may choose to inflict a Strength 8 hit on every enemy model in base contact with AP1 and have Killing Blow. 45 points. So ever want to do that? You're typically gonna hit like 3 models. If a Demon Prince has it, you're gonna hit like 4 models. I don't know if I ever want to do that. Here is an amazing one that we're going to see in 100% of lists moving forward. Well, competitive lists. We've already seen Warriors of Chaos do plenty of casting spam, a lot of level 4 wizards with 5 spells, a lot of battle magic, Ruby Ring of Ruined, and now they'll have a character with also the Rod of the Damned. It is just a power level 2, the summoning spell. It's a second Ruby Ring of Ruin for them. Now the summoning, just to catch it up, is a demonology signature spell. Is range 18, causes 2d6 strength 4 AP1. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what summoning is cast at. I think it's cast at 9. I have to show 7 on the dice to cast it. Yes, it's power level 9. So yeah, you show us 7 on the dice, 2d6 strength 4 AP1 hits, 40 points. They're an army that already does spam a lot of machine gun type wizards. One more spell, one more enchanted item for them, one more bound spell for them. We already talked about the barding. Okay, 3 cool arcane items, and I'm not sure. Warriors of Chaos already have so many good arcane items. I don't know how to fit these in a list. So we have the power, sorry, Scepter of Power. The bearer of the Scepter of Power adds 1 to the casting or dispel rolls. However, should they roll any natural doubles when making a casting or dispel roll, the bearer suffers a single strength 10 AP 3 hit after the effects are resolved. So that's actually not that bad. Adding +1 to cast, but if you roll, I mean, or dispel, but I mean, doesn't the Skull of Catan really do the same job for 5 points more without the risk of getting hit? Now, if I had a sorcerer on a chariot, taking a strength 10 hit, yeah, it wounds on a 2, you probably get no armor save. So your chaos save. So yeah, you'll take a wound here and there. I don't know if that's. I think the Skull of Catan is only for casting, but this is also for dispelling. I actually think this might see play. I don't think the damage it's going to do to you is going to be all that big a deal. Now, if you're on a horse or on foot, if you're not on a chariot, I probably wouldn't risk it. Too easy to, run a bad dice and die, but it doesn't seem that bad. But then again, if I'm on a chariot, I'm probably going to go spam things that help me do the machine gun build. So yeah, maybe we won't see that on the table, but well, let me know. Will you use this one, everybody? I don't think it's a bad item. I just don't think I can find a way to use it with all the other items we have access to. We have the Grimoire of Ogvold. Rather than randomly determining the spells the wizard knows, the bearer of the knows all 7 spells from the Trojan lore, including the signature spell. However, they only cast a number of spells equal to the wizard level per turn. You know all your spells for 50 points. I think that's pretty good. The problem is, once again, we have so many other good arcane items. Knowing 5 of your 7 for 15 points, pretty good too. And when you buy the Power Familiar, you can cast 5 spells. This only lets you cast 4. So again, a pretty good item. Just that there's a lot of arcane items access to. Let me know if you like this one, everybody. Weigh in below. Tell me how you would use it, or if you even would. And then we're gonna have the good old debate of whether or not you can swap your signature spell for like your Lore of Chaos signature. Great. That's in the custom debate. Let me know. Would you use it? And then we have the Tome of the Dark Gods, 35 points. Models with the Mark of Chaos only. Oh, sorry, Chaos Undivided only. When generating their spells, the bearer of the Tome of the Dark Gods may discard any number of their randomly generated spells. For each spell they discard, they may select a spell from the Lore of Chaos, and they have the corresponding Mark of Chaos. So, I was thinking about this thing on a Demonology Wizard, joining a unit of Knights, and picking all the buff spells, or trying to get all the buff spells, and the Fleshy Abundance. But you can't guarantee this. Yeah, this one I can't. I keep trying to make this one work. I can't figure this one out how to make this one work. If I could have this and the Power Familiar, sorry, the Lore Familiar, I'd pay 65 points for the combo of this and the Lore Familiar. But I can't do that. So I don't know how to use this. I don't think the Lore of Chaos spells are actually worthwhile, with the exception of the Tzeentch one, the blue, I think it's Bluefire Tzeentch. However, I was having a problem with my army, sorry, a Heralds of Darkness list, where I don't want to have Mark of Tzeentch on my sorcerer, but I still want the access to the Bluefire spell. This allows me to do it, but at too big of a loss. So yeah, like, these are all very interesting to me. I'm very interested in what you guys come up with. I love all these magic items. I think a lot of them are really good. These ones, I really want to love. But I try to figure out how I actually use them over what I already have access to in the Warriors of Chaos book. Any of my armies would love to have these. I'm just saying that. Yeah, so as far as magic items in this book, I think it's a big win. That's it. That's the Warriors of Chaos Arcane Journal. I think it's actually, this is hard to say, I think it's actually my favorite Arcane Journal to date. Wolves of the Sea, awesome. Heralds of Darkness, a little Frydaal and Galrauch, awesome characters they brought back. Lots of cool new units. Artifacts are on par. Like this is I like this book. It's a good book. I'm stoked for this one. So remember, keep an eye out for this week. We have 2 live streams, Wednesday night and Thursday night, 5:30 Eastern time. We're gonna play Wolves of the Sea, then Heralds of Darkness, and then we'll probably do tons of chaos this month in the month of September. September will be our month of chaos as we try every possible new combination. We have greatly expanded our Warriors of Chaos collection for this Arcane journal. If you have a really cool list or combo you want to see, let me know and we'll get it on the stream. Thanks for watching. See you the next one. Happy wargaming.